What's up guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be going over an insane new meta that has been discovered recently. Now people were using this move back in season 4, but after a patch Fortnite brought out, everyone stopped doing it because it became too hard and inconsistent. And it's remained pretty dead for about 4 seasons, up until about a week ago, it's come to light again, but in a whole new way. It's where you place a flat and as you place a ramp, you jump, phase through it, and it flings you forward. So you might have seen this before a while ago of people using this as a faster way to transport, but this was back when phasing through stuff was a lot easier, as well as the game didn't even have trolleys yet. But now it's a lot harder than it used to be to phase through builds, and the game has so many vehicles that it's basically useless for transport. But no one ever really took it to build fights. In this video I'm going to be covering this new dash meta and how absolutely game-changing this one move can be. And I also have some mind-blowing clips that I'm going to put at the end of this video that you won't want to miss. But just before the video starts, if you guys could drop a like and subscribe if you're new, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm currently on the grind to 100k subs, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when I stream, because I stream just about daily on YouTube. Alright, let's get started. This new meta is called the EJ Dash, discovered by a good mate of mine, EJ Lad. This guy's a freak at the game. All he does is 1v1s and discover metas. So his link's going to be the first link in the description. I highly recommend you check him out. He's one of the most underrated controller players out there right now, and pretty much found this meta and a bunch of crazy variations for it, which I'll be going over later. First, I'm just going to go over the basic move, how to perform it, and why it's worth doing. So the EJ Dash is basically when you're on a flat and you sprint towards the middle, place a ramp, and it phases you through, pushing you outwards. And what you want to do is you want to run up to it, and just before it, you want to place the ramp, and while sprinting, as you place the ramp and you phase through it, you just want to jump and it should phase you outwards. Make sure you place the ramp then jump. If you're jumping too early, you'll land on top of the ramp, and if you're jumping too late, you'll hit your head on the ramp and it won't work. It took me about 30 to 45 minutes of practice until I got it consistently every time. It just takes a bit of practice and isn't hard once you get it. Also, another thing to note when doing this is you want to look down and just tap L2, because if you hold L2, what happens is you're going to phase and just land on another ramp. So you don't want this ramp to place in most cases, so you want to be landing on a flat or even down low, so don't hold L2. And it should work better. Now it doesn't look like much, it's just a single jump, but I'm going to show you how much faster this can actually be. If we start off running just 10 squares, it takes this long to perform. But running those exact same 10 squares, EJ dashing, it takes this long to perform. We already knew it was faster for transport, so let's move on. Now I've set up this little area over here, which will help determine how much extra distance the EJ Dash will take us. So we got a platform at 2 layers high, a platform at 4 layers high, and a platform at 6 layers high. Starting at 2 layers high, which is about a realistic height for a build fight. So this marker right here is about where you want to be jumping for the EJ Dash to work effectively. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be doing normal jumps from this marker, and then I'm going to be doing dash jumps and see which one gets me further. So I have these little markers set down as well. So we got different colored markers so I can tell how far I've gone. So at 2 layers high, this is a normal jump. But now if I do a dash jump, as you can see with the EJ Dash jump, I actually landed at the yellow marker, so I've increased almost 3/4 of a block upwards. If you're trying to think how this is practical, there could be an enemy boxed up over here, and just doing a normal jump, if you're doing a normal jump down, you'll only land here, so you won't have an angle on him. But if you do a dash jump, you're actually landing up here, you could possibly just get that little extra bit of angle on him. But that's only 2 layers high. Now I'm going to go 4 layers high and do the same thing. So at 4 layers high, a normal jump will get me just past the red marker, and an EJ Dash jump will get me between the green and blue marker. So as you can see, once again, if there's an opponent over there, if I was doing a normal jump, I was landing about here. I have no angle on that opponent in that box. But doing a dash jump, I landed about here. I have much more of an angle. As you can see, there's a lot more open area. So if your opponent's somewhat building outwards, and you'll see in the clips later on in the video, you'll actually just get that little bit extra distance, and that will give you an angle on your opponent to hit that shot. And now at 6 layers high, it's pretty unpractical. You're never going to be this high an opponent, but just to show you, a normal jump at 6 layers high is going to get you just between the yellow and orange markers. But an EJ Dash jump is going to get you all the way up to almost that purple marker. So as you can see, the significant difference between landing here and landing all the way back here. We're almost a block and a half in front of where we were. 6 layers is a bit unrealistic, but I just thought I'd show you anyway. I just thought I'd add this little test so it's a clear indication that it makes you jump out further. So that's just a single basic jump you might have seen before, but no one's actually taken it to build fights. That's why I thought I'd give proper credit to the founder of this move, and that's why it's called the EJ Dash. Feel free to try it out in a build fight. It's a good way to get a few extra meters ahead and maybe a cheeky jump out shot on your opponent. But that's just the beginning. This shit gets pretty insane. Now we're going to cover all the different uses and variations for this move that both EJ and myself have discovered over the past few days. Just remember, this isn't a high ground meta. This is a horizontal speed meta. It's all about covering as much distance as possible over the least amount of time. Just starting with the simple dash move I've showed you before. If you're doing it right, you should land at the end of this flat. Moving on to the next variation, it's not that useful, but what you can do is you can go for a dash and then jump out to a side ramp. Moving on, we got the same thing, but this time you're just doing it with flats. So you just do a dash and then you land on a side ramp. Moving on, we just got a dash to ramp 180. Next up, we got the dash to cone 180. This is pretty pointless, but it's just a bit stylish. Stupid. Next up, we got the double dash. This is probably the most meta dash variation. This is insane, and it's probably my personal favorite. So you do one dash, and then straight into another dash. So it's the double dash. So it's pretty easy to do once you get used to it. It's almost like you're bunny hopping. It's a really good way of transport if you're at height trying to chase someone. Next up, we got a double dash variation, which instead of going one way and then turning, you actually go straight ahead. It's really, really hard to do. Probably not as practical as the other one. The other one's actually doable consistently once you get used to it. This one's a bit RNG because sometimes it throws you off in the wrong direction. But if I just get it, so that's it right there. So see how it threw me off in a diagonal direction? But as you can see how far this actually threw me, like I jumped over there and I'm all the way over here, so it throws you pretty far. So with the double dash forward method, what you want to be doing is you want to do a normal dash, and then as you land, you want to set yourself up for the next dash, right? But instead of going this way this time and flinging yourself out, what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for that second dash. So you want to be facing this way, but then you want to be going in the same direction, right? And it should phase you out to about this area here. So instead of actually getting here, you're actually getting over here. So you're actually getting longer distance. It's just a lot harder to do. So you just gotta be ready to catch yourself like that. There we go. So normal dash into a double dash, and you kind of catch yourself on an angle. So instead of landing over here, you're kind of landing over here. So you're getting that extra distance. It's just more sweaty. It's something fun to do, man. I mean, I know a lot of people getting bored of Fortnite, so if you want to bunny hop on high ground and just pump kids, I mean, this is this is what you want to do, you know. The double dash is definitely the funnest variation to do. But moving on, we just got the diagonal dash and just some variations for it. So pretty much what that is instead of dashing instead of actually dashing forward, what you're actually doing is you're dashing on an angle. So if you watch EJ Lad's tutorial, this is what he actually does. This is actually pretty helpful if you're chasing an opponent that isn't straight ahead of you and he's actually like maybe off to the side. Instead of just running in flats on an angle, what you can do and what's quicker is actually dash on an angle. So it just gives you a little bit of a speed boost, but on an angle if you're chasing an opponent on an angle. So I have both ramp angles, so if you want to, what you can do is you can either dash and land on the ramp facing this way, or if you want to land on the ramp facing this way, it's just up to you. It's just however you need to use it. Now over here, we have the monster dash. I call this the EJ triple cone. This is a monster of a move and actually probably the most useful dash out of all these. So you're probably wondering how we went from all this to this monster thing. This is where this move just gets to a whole new level. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So for the EJ triple cone, what you want to do to set yourself up is you actually want to have a ramp behind you already. And then when you go into the phase, what you want to do is you want to place that ramp in front of you while phased, while midair. You want to place that ramp above you there, and that ramp as well. So you're going to do it all in one smooth motion. And as you come back down midair, you're going to place all 3 cones, right? So that's why it's called the EJ triple cone. So in fast motion, it should look like this. So if there's anything that's going to cuck your opponent at high ground, it's this move. It's just insane. Here's a clip of EJ pulling it off a few times and how practical it can actually be. Keep in mind that a normal double ramp cone will probably look like this, and most people cone, so they'll place a cone there and a cone there to make this. But what you're doing with this move is you're actually placing an extra ramp out the back here as well as an extra cone. So you're just getting that extra layer in, and you might as well just throw in 2 extra cones just for more cones, and then just do whatever you want to get out of it. I'm keen to see some EJ triple cone clips or variations, so make sure you at me and EJ in your clips on Twitter, at FleerYT and at EJLad. Next up, we have probably one of the most useful things with the dash, is if someone's if there's a wall in front of you maybe, or someone's ramped over you or something, what you can do to get around them, instead of jumping like this, what you can do to make it faster is you can just dash around the walls. So you just place the ramp and you can dash out, and it's a lot quicker. And there's certain things like that you guys will probably find useful. After this video is posted, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to find awesome things for this move to do. We've only been playing around with it for a day or so, and these are the things we've come up with. Now moving on to a few things that I also discovered is the drop down variations. So if you want to go for a shot on your opponent, instead of just jumping down to low ground, it can be a pretty slow thing to do, and you might want to get further on, but catching yourself can also be really helpful if you want to maintain that high ground. So instead of just jumping off into the middle of nowhere and hoping you hit a shot and land on something, what you can actually do to catch yourself is shoot the shot and then turn around and catch yourself with the ramps. So take the shot and then catch yourself. So what you're doing is just catching yourself with those 2 ramps. If you just do a normal drop down, right, you'll land about here. Anywhere from here down to here is where you'll land. So you have all that time mid-air to take that shot and catch that landing, and then you can just start building back up. So that pretty much covers it with the EJ dash. There's some moves that are pretty stupid and some are pretty actually practical. I try to include as many as I could remember. I probably missed a few out because we've just been doing it all day, and there's so many things we came up with. If you guys hear any EJ dash clips or find a new saucy variation, make sure to at FleerYT and at EJLad on Twitter. We got our eyes out for your clips and anything that may seem useful. There have been some big names talk about EJ's new move, and it might be the next new creative trend. So make sure to get some practice in if you want to stay ahead of the game, or if you just want to hit some crazy clips. Speaking of crazy clips, I'm going to end the video with some of EJ's clips he got himself. Once again, his link is in the description. He's an insane controller player, always discovering new crazy metas just like this, so go drop him a sub if that does interest you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I could be fucking horny, bro.
That is insane. Holy shit. See, like...
Fly by.
I can see it in your eyes, and then you tell me lies. How do I stay strong before you wait so long? No.
Fuck off. Oh my god.